Meta Quest 2 Review. The Meta Quest 2 has become the new face of VR headsets since it launched back in 2020. With a wireless design and an internal processor, this VR headset doesn't need to be tethered to an external PC in order to play games. Factor in the excellent library of VR games and its relatively affordable price, and you can see why Meta Quest 2 has been such a resounding success. Since its launch, it's also seen some major upgrades via software updates. It now supports hand tracking, making it possible to navigate menus without controllers, as well as a smoother 120Hz refresh rate that should help tackle motion sickness. But there have been a few setbacks, too. Meta has given the headset a substantial price hike, while we've also seen rival VR headsets, such as the Pico 4, surpass the Quest in terms of design and specs. The Meta Quest 2 originally arrived in stores back on the 13th of October and is available to buy right now. It originally launched with a $299/$300 starting price for the 128GB configuration. At this price point, the Quest was an absolute bargain. As a result, the Meta Quest 2 isn't such a great bargain anymore, but it's still one of the most affordable VR headsets on the market. The Meta Quest 2 is more powerful than its predecessor, featuring a Qualcomm Snapdragon XR2 processor and 6GB RAM. That's still mobile-grade performance, so don't expect the new Quest to be able to run more demanding games. However, there are still lots of great games that can run on the Quest, with the extra grunt ensuring a smoother performance and generating more pixels to take advantage of the 1832 by 1920 per eye resolution. That's a higher pixel count than the more expensive Vive Cosmos and Oculus Rift S VR headsets. In-game worlds immediately look sharper, making it more difficult to see those immersion-shattering screen door effects. The odd game, such as Thumper, still sees a bit of pixelation among all the hypnotic visual effects, but the likes of Beat Saber, Robo Recall, and Tetris Effect all look outstanding with bright colors and clear detail. That screen resolution isn't quite as impressive 2 years later. The Pico 4 now offers a 2160 by 2160 resolution per eye, while Sony is promising a 2000 by 2040 resolution per eye for the upcoming PSVR 2. But while it's no longer a key strength of the Quest 2, it still offers sharp enough screen quality to prevent me from calling it a weak point. The Quest is also capable of plugging into a gaming PC via the Oculus Link cable, which is basically just a 5-meter USB-C to USB-C connector. You have to make sure your gaming PC or laptop has a USB-C port, but if it does, you'll gain access to a huge library of VR games that are too demanding for the Quest when operating independently. Asgard's Wrath looked incredible with the Quest 2, with a flawlessly smooth performance. Meta has improved the performance of the Quest 2 since its release too, upping the 72 FPS refresh rate cap to an impressive 120Hz. This means supported games will be capable of presenting smoother motion, which not only looks better but also reduces the likelihood of causing motion sickness. Meta has cranked up the max storage option to a whopping 256GB, which is twice the size of the counterpart configuration of the previous headset. The base 128GB option should be plentiful enough for the majority of players though, as most games and applications take up less than 1GB of space, while Robo Recall is one of the most demanding at just 3.51GB. Like its predecessor, the Meta Quest 2 features inside-out tracking, which means it can track your movement without the need for external sensors. It's surprisingly accurate too, with even the slightest head turn registered with pinpoint accuracy. Take a closer look at the Quest 2 and you'll notice a couple of subtle design tweaks. It's now slightly smaller and 10% lighter than the original headset. It can still cause your head and neck to ache after extended use, but the trimmed-down design is nevertheless very welcome. They feel slightly larger now, while the rear and side triggers feature more travel for more satisfying presses. Haptic feedback has also been repositioned for improved immersion. Otherwise, these new controllers feel very familiar.